Hi amigas, today I'm teaching you how to make albóndigas. Hey, porcupine soup. I think that's what it's called in some places. We're going to start off by making the broth. So you're going to need 1 tomato. I don't use a lot of tomato. Honestly, if you're making this for your family and your husband's not a tomato hater like Jose, then you could definitely use more than 1 tomato, like maybe 2 or 3. But I'm using 1 because Jose's a tomato hater. And now we're going to use 1 yellow onion. This is a small yellow onion. You don't need a lot of onion for this. And we're going to do the same. You see that I cut up my tomato into medallions, and I'm doing the same with the onion, and then I'm putting it in the chopper. That's just to make thinner and smaller dices. You really want the veggies to dissolve into your broth, okay? And you'll see why here in a minute. Now we're going to get garlic. You cannot make a dish without garlic. I don't know if you believe that, but I believe that. Now we're going to get 2 garlic cloves, and we're going to mince them super fine. You could put them through the dicer, but you want them very, very, very fine. Oh, garlic, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Go garlic. Hey, me cheerleader days. Fun fact, I was a cheerleader for a little bit, but then I quit to be a cholita vibes. Okay. Now, we're going to throw that into our chopper, and we're going to go over to the stove. In a large stock pot, you're going to throw in a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. That's what I use. We're going to throw in our chopped up veggies, our tomato, onions, garlic, and 1 Serano pepper. You could chop up the pepper if your family likes spice. I feed this to Fabian, and he doesn't love spice, so I just like the flavor of the Serrano in there. And you're going to saute until your onions turn soft. Now you're going to throw in 2 bay leaves, which I didn't show, and a cap full of the chicken tomato bouillon, and we're going to dissolve it into that broth. You want to fill your stock pot halfway. This is a 25 quart, I believe. It's a pretty big stock pot. All right, now we're going to make our porcupines or albóndigas or meatballs or whatever you want to call them. But they're definitely delicious, okay? Whatever you call them, they're delicious. So you're going to get 2 pounds of lean ground beef. Now we're going to get 2 eggs. My ground beef, I think, is 91% lean beef, and then the rest is fat. I try to use a little bit of fat in there, but you know. And we're going to grab a half a cup of rice, 2 eggs, and then whatever seasoning you want to cook with. I used a little bit of total seasoning from Laurie's. And now I'm using a little bit of beef Chef Merito Sazon. And we're going to use 1 packet of Goya. This gives your caldo and your beef so much flavor and color. I just love it. It's probably not good for you, but I love the seasoning. Maybe it is. I don't know. Don't tell me in the comments. I don't want to know. All right, now we're going to wash some mint. So we're going to grab a handful of mint, fresh mint, you guys. Fresh mint is key for this. You cannot substitute it for a chicle, for some toothpaste, or for some dry mint. You need fresh. You need it to be growing in your garden, okay? So we're chopping it up super fine because you want every little bite and a little morsel of meatball to have that mint flavor, okay? You guys ask me a lot, like, oh, you forgot the cilantro. I don't know. I didn't grow up cooking with everything with cilantro in it, so I just don't use a lot of cilantro. So cilantro depends on, like, where you grew up, you know, like how you were taught to cook. I was taught by my mom, who was taught by her mom, who was taught by her mom. So this is literally like ancient Mexican recipes. All right, so now we're using a meat chopper, and we're incorporating all those ingredients, making sure they're well incorporated before you stick your hands in. I don't know, there's something about sticking my hands into like the raw egg and there's still raw egg in the meat, and I'm still going to wash my hands, but I don't know, it just grosses me out. So at first I use the chopper. Once all those ingredients are well mixed, then I use my hand. All right. You can use gloves if you want. I'm cooking for my family, girl. I'm not using gloves, okay? I'm trying to save this planet one less glove at a time because plastic... I have been trying really hard to, like, be more, like, environmentally friendly. Some things I do and some things I don't, but... All right, so now that everything feels incorporated, it almost comes together like a dough. You're going to grab and you're going to make sure your meatballs are all about the same size. Nice and round. I'm using a chopping sheet from the Dollar Tree. I love these for like recipes like this where you want to be able to like move your food around. I'll show you why I love these little choppers. You get 2 for $1, like, or $1.25 now. Anyway, so we're just making all those meatballs. I made about like almost 3 dozen with 2 pounds of meat. Some people put breadcrumbs instead of rice. I prefer rice. I think rice really does give it a lot of taste. Now we're going to slowly put them into that boiling broth that we made. You see my bay leaves in there? They're in there. All right, so we're going to put them in slowly. Don't drop them from too high because it will splash and it will burn you and it will make a mess. I'm telling you because I've done it. And now cover it, pat it, let it know that you believe in her. All right, now we're going to chop up our veggies. So we're going to start off with carrots, calabasitas. You can use zucchini, chayote, and potatoes. So we're chopping up our carrots here. A lot of you guys notice that I don't peel my carrots anymore. Well, I found out from a credible source, my son's pediatrician, that carrots actually carry a lot of their vitamins in their skin. So you need to eat that skin to get those vitamins. If you peel your carrots, you're losing half of your vitamins. So now we don't peel them. If you like skin, let me know in the comments. Skin or no skin? What kind of girly are you? We're still talking about vegetables. Now we're chopping up our chayote. Mine had a brown spot, so I just cut out the brown spot. And now I'm chopping up all the pieces that weren't brown. This kind of looks like green apple, doesn't it? I was like, why is Rosalie putting green apple in her caldo? It's not. It's chayote. It's kind of like in the squash family. It's super firm. It doesn't get too squishy, and it has a very neutral taste. It kind of picks up the taste of whatever you add. Now we're going to chop up our potatoes into medallions and keep the skin. Skin is important for these because if you peeled your potatoes and threw them in the broth, they would dissolve. So the skin just holds their shape, okay? So just wash your potatoes really well. Make sure you get all the little dirt and crevices off. And if you don't, friend, there ain't nothing wrong with the little dirt. Okay, I used to eat mud pies as a kid. And that's probably why I had worms. Okay, we'll talk about that another day. Anyways, and my sister bullied me into it. Now, again, slowly throw in those veggies into that boiling. See how those albóndigas are already coming up to the surface? That means they're like almost done cooking. Like this cooks really quickly, okay? So we're going to let those veggies soften in that boiling broth with the albóndigas. And we're going to cover them and we're going to let them cook while we cut up our softer veggies. So there's our bay leaf. You could see that I forgot to film. Okay, pat it, let it know you believe in her. And now we're gonna cut up our calabasitas, okay? Calabasitas go in last because they almost fall apart really quickly. So I almost throw them in when my soup is done cooking, and they can just sit in the hot broth and they cook with that hot broth. Like they cook really quickly. So I throw them in last. Skim off the fat off the surface. That's going to stop you from getting that like fat like residue in your mouth. Like, yeah, you don't want that. Perfect. Clean your caldo. Now we're going to add in those calabasitas. I already turned off the heat. All of my meatballs have come to the surface, which means they're all cooked. And we're going to cover it and let it rest while we chop up our limes. It literally took like 5 minutes to cook those little calabasitas in that hot broth, okay? So you're going to dice up some limes, avocado. Some people even serve it with a side of rice, of like the red rice or the Mexican rice, whatever you call it. We're not going to have that debate here. But we don't. That's just a lot of carbs that we don't have to add. And I appreciate eating mine with the flour tortilla, but Jose likes them with corn tortillas. So whatever tortillas your family likes. Here we are scooping out all that beautiful avocado. I'm not gonna say that I'm not, but I kind of am the queen of picking out avocados. Like my avocados always turn out so pretty. Now we're gonna serve our plate. All of our food has been cooking. We're just mixing up all the ingredients to make sure you get a good serving of everything. I always make sure that there's about 5 to 6 meatballs, a lot of veggies, and then the broth at the end. I hope you guys make this caldo. It's so good. It's so easy to make. You can literally get off of work and make it. And soups are like chill, like they cook themselves. You just throw everything in a pot. All right, here we are putting our limes on the side and a little scoop of avocado. Where's the avocado, Rosalie? Okay, there it is. And enjoy, guys. I hope you guys make it, and las veo muy pronto. Bye.